Well, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for taking the time to come and experience this wonderful event in the life of Tarleton State University and our College of Science and Technology and our nursing program. This is the topping celebration for our new nursing building. My name is Rick Richardson, and I serve as Vice President of Institutional Advancement here at Tarleton. I may get this microphone straightened out yet, but we'll see. Let me know. The uppermost steel beam of the building is now in place, and if you were to look, scooch down and look outside the windows there, you might even see a tree at the very top, and that signifies a celebration of reaching the highest point for the iron structure within the building. And we are so appreciative of everyone that's worked on it, and so appreciative of the efforts of all those involved to make this event happen today. This celebration marks the achievement of significant milestones in the life of Tarleton State University as we continue to excel in scholarship, teaching, and learning, as we expand our horizons, as we encourage leadership, service, and student success, and as we extend our reach. It's my pleasure now to recognize the stage party. To my right, we have the Chancellor of the Texas A&M system, Dr. Mike McKinney. Seated next to Dr. McKinney is the 15th President of Tarleton State University, Dr. Dominic Dottavio. Seated next to Dr. Dottavio is a wonderful community leader, terrific family history in the service to Stephenville community in Tarleton, and our keynote speaker today, Dr. Jim Terrell, Jr. To my left is the Dean of our College of Science and Technology, Dr. James Pierce. And seated next to Dr. Pierce is the Director and Department Chair of our nursing program here at Tarleton State, Dr. Elaine Evans. Dr. Evans. Now it is my distinct honor to welcome to the podium the 15th President of Tarleton State University, Dr. Dominic Dottavio. Dr. Dottavio.
Well, good morning, one and all, and thank you so very much for being a part of a historic day in the history of our college as we bring our nursing building one day closer to completion and to celebrate the topping off. This is something that has been in the making for many, many years, actually several decades. And we appreciate each and every one of you being here with us today to celebrate such a wonderful occasion. I'd like to recognize a few people in the audience, some people that are very dear to us in many, many ways. And let me begin by asking two people that contribute enormous numbers of hours to both the system and to Tarleton, Mrs. Elaine McKinney and my wife, Dottavio. Would you both please stand so we can thank you? They spend so many hours that just are enormously helpful to us, and for that we always are deeply appreciative. We also have several people I'd like to ask to stand, and let me begin with our state representative, Sid Miller. Without Mr. Miller's help, believe me, we would not be here today because his presence in the state legislature certainly is responsible for much of what happens at this university. Mr. Miller, would you stand? And then, thank you. And we have several others I'd like to have stand as well. Judge Don Jones, our Mayor Nancy Hunter, if you would stand. Dr. Darrell Floyd, I believe I saw earlier, and July Danley, our Stephenville Chamber President. July, thank you. Well, we certainly also enjoy a number of very important and strategic partnerships here at Tarleton, including those with the Texas Health Resources, Harris Methodist Stephenville Hospital, our Tarleton Foundation, and our Tarleton Alumni Association. And so I'd like to ask the following people representing those organizations if they would please stand. Chris Liu from the hospital, and Donna Steen, the Chief of Nursing. Nancy Allen, the President of the Tarleton Foundation. Donna Strohmeyer, the president of the Alumni Association, and if any others that are former or current members of the association, the Alumni Association, or the Tarleton Foundation, if you would stand so we could recognize all of you collectively. Thank you all so very, very much. Well, I hope you can see, at least from driving in, or if you get a low enough view here, from what you see behind you, that when the doors of this building open, it is truly going to be an impressive structure. It's a building that is going to cost $24.3 million when all is said and done, and will have about 55,000 square feet of space. More important than the statistics on it, though, is it is going to be a first-class educational facility having new nursing skills labs with some of the latest equipment available for teaching our students in a powerful way. I expect you know, like most programs like this, that we would not be here without people that had seen the need, created a vision for what this should be, and then worked very, very hard to make that vision a reality. And Stephenville and Tarleton have been extraordinarily blessed with some individuals that have taken the idea of nursing very seriously over the years, and the medical profession very seriously over the years. We've had outstanding individuals in the community, like Doctors Vance and Jim Terrell Sr., who have established a legacy in this community for the medical practice. At the university level, there are a couple of people that really did see that vision some years ago, and they are the ones that truly helped us to get a top-flight nursing program here. Dr. Bob Fain, who is our former Dean of the College of Science and Technology and was the Vice President for Academic Affairs here, is in the audience. I'd like Dr. Fain, if you would stand and stay standing, and I'd like to also ask Dr. Lamar Johansson. He was the former Dean of the College of Science and Technology and is Dean Emeritus of the college. Stay standing, gentlemen. You need to know. You need to know. Well, okay, let's go ahead and thank you. Both Dr. Johansson and Dr. Fain told me on separate occasions, as they reflected on their long, and let me tell you, very illustrious careers here at Tarleton, that possibly the single most important activity that they participated in, the greatest thing that they saw, the thing that was most rewarding in their careers, was the establishment of this nursing program that we have here at Tarleton. And the reason for that was not only because of the impact that it clearly had on a number of rural communities in this region, but because of the impact it had on students that might not otherwise even have thought about an education. And the nursing degree provided a lot of students with an option that truly was made for who they were and how they cared about life. And so Dr. Johansson and Dr. Fain, thank you for the enormous impact that you made on bringing us to this day. In the future, when this building is open, it's going to have an enormous impact immediately on our program as well, because what's going to happen is we expect that very soon after opening the doors, we'll be able to double the number of nursing majors that we have, and we'll be able to move forward toward a master's degree in nursing, both very significant and important needs for this area of the state. I'd like to now introduce you to somebody that is going to tell you a bit more about where we are heading as we go down the road, Dr. James Pierce, the current Dean of the College of Science and Technology. Dr. Pierce?
Thank you, Dr. Dottavio. It's an honor to be here today to celebrate this occasion. As we've gone through this process, I've learned that it takes a lot of people to plan and construct a building. In the audience today, we have representatives of those involved, including the architects, the contractor, the construction management team, and the Texas A&M System and Facilities Planning and Construction Department. As I call your name, would you please stand so that we can say thank you for your efforts? The architects, Mr. Randall Scott and Greg Conway, I think are back here. The building contractor, Thomas S. Byrne, is represented by Dr. John Avila and Mr. Jim Strutt and Barry Miller back here. And I know there's probably many other people that represent Thomas S. Byrne. Would you please also stand, because I know there's a lot of people from there here. The Broadus Construction Management Team has been doing a great job of coordinating the construction project as well. And Mr. Jim Hotop is here, and Mr. Paul Sanders, Bill Porter, and Robert Thomas. And also the A&M system obviously has had a big part in helping us plan and construct this building. Mr. Russell Wallace, Peter Schmid, and Randy Zadok. Now I would like to introduce the department head for nursing, Dr. Elaine Evans.
Thank you, Dr. Pierce. It's my privilege to stand before you today, and at this time, I'd like to recognize some people that helped shape our students into wonderful nurses that serve the state of Texas. Please join me in a round of applause for the Tarleton State University nursing faculty. Would y'all please stand? And I'd also like to recognize our important nursing staff who do a wonderful job to support our students and our faculty. Would you please stand? And I'd like to also take this opportunity to recognize the representatives of the student body in nursing. And if all of you would stand and be recognized, please. Raise your hand back there. Just over about 34 years ago, the nursing program began at Tarleton as a division within the Department of Biological Sciences. Tarleton accepted 20 students into the associate degree program in the fall of 1976. The event was made possible by Erath County citizens and Tarleton administration. The late Dr. Vance Terrell of Stephenville led a community effort to establish a nursing program at Tarleton State University in the 70s. Dr. Robert Fain and Dr. Lamar Johansson responded to this community's concerns with persistence and diligence as they gained approval from the Texas Board of Nursing and the Texas Higher Education Coordinating Board. And I can't emphasize diligence and persistence enough, because it took that, because the Board of Nursing was not very interested in having a nursing program in a county that did not have the clinical facilities and the faculty resources at the time that we started the program. Educational excellence and enrollment stability marked the first 20 years of the program. In 1983, we moved to the third floor from the third floor of the old science building, now presently the beautifully renovated math building, to the present location adjacent to the administration building. The last 14 years have been a time of growth and change. Due to enrollment growth, the nursing building has undergone renovation twice, and we've expanded to the Tarleton Center. More importantly, we've established a baccalaureate degree in nursing program. We phased out the associate degree program. We became a Department of Nursing. We opened 3 off-campus sites. We changed from admitting students once to twice per year. We doubled the number of graduates. We gained and maintained national accreditation of the BSN program, and we established a local chapter of Sigma Theta Tau International Honor Society for Nursing. The nursing program was created for the purpose of preparing highly qualified graduates to meet the healthcare needs of Texas citizens. In the years since the spring of 1978, when the first class graduated, the nursing program at Tarleton has lived up to this purpose. As of December 2009, Tarleton has produced 1,122 nursing graduates. The success of the program can be attributed to a supportive Tarleton administration, a supported community groups, supported nursing colleagues in the service sector, our students who have given of themselves to enhance the quality of the educational process, a dedicated and caring staff, and a faculty that have enough vision to direct the future, enough wisdom to learn from the past, and a firm belief in the value of quality education and excellence in nursing practice. I would now like to welcome back to the podium Dr. Dottavio.
Thank you, Dr. Evans. You know, the Chancellor seems to like Tarleton an awful lot. He and his wife were here last week for 3 days, and here he is back again. And I have to tell you, that is a sign of the commitment that this Chancellor has not only to Tarleton, but to the universities around the Texas A&M system. Dr. McKinney became the Chancellor of Texas A&M University back in November of 2006. And believe me, since that time, we have been on a path of improvement and change in very, very positive ways. He came to the Texas A&M system from the University of Texas Health Science Center at Houston, where he served as the Senior Vice President and Chief Operating Officer. And he also served in a variety of other leadership positions in the UT system, including the Vice Chancellor for Health Affairs and Acting Dean of the University of Texas Medical School in Houston. He also, I expect many of you know, served us capably in the state legislature for a number of years and in the governor's office. But probably most important to today is Dr. McKinney also practiced medicine for 16 years in a very rural community, Centerville, Texas. And he told me today, on a good day, they might have 12,000 people in the entire county. So he understands what it is that we're about today. He understands clearly the importance of the educational mission of this university, and importantly, what it is that we're about when we talk about medicine and the future of the state of Texas with regard to medical practices. Ladies and gentlemen, I know of no man that is more caring and more passionate about education than Dr. Mike McKinney. Would you please welcome him to the podium?
Thank you very much. That's very kind. And I will tell you, I don't just seem to like Tarleton. I love it. That's for real. It's actually a real privilege to be here again today. We did spend last week we had a wonderful Chancellor Century Council meeting here, and I will tell you that it's about 200 people that are part of that council, and I had a bunch of them tell me, and not that there wasn't any better than this. They told me there had never been a Century Council meeting that was as good as this one, and I appreciate that. Lizette, all of y'all helped a whole bunch with that. Glad to be with Representative Sid Miller. Representative Miller, I already thought a whole lot of him, but he's now my hero. I saw him last week jump off of a horse after he roped a calf, and last time I rode a horse, I had to have a rock to get off, so I was impressed. Anyway, the faculty of this great department in this great college, you cannot separate students from faculty. And you know, we all talk about, you know, we're about the students, but you have to know the faculty make the students, and the students depend on the faculty. You cannot separate those. So I'm very, very appreciative of you, and I admire your work. The generous supporters of Tarleton State and the people who back it. And I'll tell you, Dr. Bud Frazier, and y'all may know him. Some of you will certainly remember him. But he's a very famous heart surgeon down in Houston. In fact, he has done more cardiac assist device. He's implanted more cardiac assist device than any other person in the entire world. He was coming with, he called me last night. He was very ill, and he said, you don't want to be on an airplane with me, and I agreed. But he said he would come back. We'll come back sometime later on in the year. He also told me some interesting stories. His daddy was here in 1925, and his daddy was good friends with General Rudder, who's was Texas A&M president, but he was also a student here. Anyway, I come to you today not just as the Chancellor of Texas A&M University System, but also as a family physician. I was in Centerville, Texas for 16 years, and I loved being just Dr. Mike. I never was even Dr. McKinney. I was Dr. Mike, and I really loved that. But what I have acknowledged that how important the healthcare workforce is to the well-being of the state and of the people that live there. Again, this program is particularly adept at training people how to deliver health care in rural areas. Truthfully, it's a little easier in Texas Medical Center because, like Bud Frazier, you have the world's best heart surgeon that's around the corner, and you have internists, and you have all kinds of specialists just within arm's reach. In Centerville, Texas, in Stephenville, Texas, you don't have that. You have to learn how to identify problems quickly, devise a solution quickly, and act and be decisive. You also have to learn what it is you don't know. You have to know when to get help and how to get help. And that's the part that you get taught when you're not in a nursing education environment that is restricted to just big hospitals. You have to learn how to do more things, and that's why you depend, again, on the faculty so much, is to train people to be confident and to be confident enough to say, I don't know, I need help. That's the first thing I would say that you have to, that you really have to learn. I also come as this is for your benefit, I'm an old East Texas legislator, and I still consider that one of the most important contributions I have made through my life was I was the author of it was styled the Rural Healthcare Rescue Act, House Bill 18, 20 years ago. That was the first bill that gave prescribing rights to nurse practitioners. As I'd previously received the American Academy of Family Practice Presidential Award for service to, after I passed that bill, they tried to rescind my award, but no, really they did not. Part of family medicine, we recognize the growing population, the growing need, and the importance of working as a team. You know, the old days of looking down your nose, those days are gone. And I'm really pleased that this has turned out well. It continues, and we do understand that probably the greatest shortage in the workforce that we have right now in the entire country is in nursing. And we recognize that, and that's one of the wonderful things about this new building. We're going to fix part of that. It'll go from, I think, 60 graduates last year to eventually get to 120 graduates a year. All the faculty sighed deeply. double your workload, but also to build up the graduate programs, the master's programs in administration and hopefully in nurse practice. It'll be a very interesting place. It is a well-designed building. It is a well-constructed building. There's a beam. We're gonna check everybody's dismount when we get through here. But as you can see over there, it's partially complete. It's not. I was going to say we're here in those facilities, but after looking at it and feeling the temperature and the wind, we decided that we probably would lose our balance if we had to go there right now. So there's a number of things that will continue to go on. I do know that we need more nurses, that it is important to the well-being of the world, that there's more of us in the state of Texas. I mean, it's 26 million of us who now will depend on nursing care and health care in general. We need more well-trained, caring nurses, and that's the part I want to encourage all of the students. You'll get it from the faculty, but keep the caring part of it there. I know it becomes a job, and the good news is a wonderful job market for a degree in nursing. I encourage you all to go through and encourage other people that you know who are partly through a career. Nursing is a wonderful career, is a good job market. There is no reason at all that if you want a job that you won't have a job when you graduate. That it is even in these down economic times, even with the specter of healthcare reform, it's still a wonderful profession, and it's a great place to be. I will tell you a story. About 2 years ago, I was at Baylor over in Dallas, Baylor Medical Center, and I'm talking to them about the medical school and the dental school and all the other things. I have seven different nursing schools now, and I asked them when I got through. I was talking to the CEO. I said, "Okay, well, is there anything that I can do for you?" And he only said one thing to me: "Send me more Tarleton nurses, by name. Send me more Tarleton nurses." So we in the Texas A&M system are very, very proud of this program, very proud of it. We're proud of our Tarleton nurses. We're proud of our Tarleton nursing faculty. And we're very proud of Dr. Dottavio's leadership. And we're proud and thankful for your undying support of Tarleton. Again, thank you, and we shall continue. We'll be back very soon again. Thank you. Thank you, Steve.
Well, thank you so very much, Dr. McKinney. You can see, I think, the passion in his eyes and in his heart. And we are so fortunate to have somebody with his background and his leadership skills at the head of the Texas A&M system. You know, his mention of not having to walk the beam this morning reminds me that we should be very thankful to Rick Richardson and all of his staff for having the wisdom to put us inside this morning. And so very, very thankful for that call on the weather. I'd also like to mention that we introduced a lot of people that are associated with the planning and the construction. A project like this does not happen without a lot of people at the university as well. And we have a terrific facilities staff here. And I see a variety of those people standing around the edges, Joe Standridge and Aaron Wan, and I saw Jerry Graham. Jerry Graham's over there. Would all of you wave your hands that are with the facilities part of the university? Thank you so very much. They do an extraordinary job, and they've got an awful lot of work cut out for them right now. If you've wandered around the campus, it looks like it's been exploded a bit. Several people now have mentioned that we have been very fortunate in this community to have some outstanding medical leaders, and I mentioned earlier Drs. Vance and Jim Terrell, Sr. In addition to them, we have the great fortune to have other members of the Terrell family with us today. And I'd like to acknowledge Barbara Terrell, and I know Alicia is back there. And if there are any other members of the Terrell family, would you stand so we can thank you for your service to this community? Alicia, Barbara, stand so we can thank you so very much. Well, now it's my great privilege to introduce to you Dr. Jim Terrell, Jr. Dr. Terrell was born right here in Stephenville, Texas, in the Stephenville Hospital, obviously to a medical family. He earned a Bachelor of Arts degree from the University of Texas in Austin, and then he graduated from the University of Texas Medical School in Galveston, where he was importantly initiated into the Alpha Society for Honored Graduates. Dr. Terrell served his internship in Denver at the University of Colorado, and his residency in surgery was at the University of Texas Southwestern Medical School. As most of you here know, that Dr. Terrell was in the Stephenville medical community as a general surgeon for 35-some years, and prior to his retirement, and served in an extraordinary capacity for those 35 years. He and his wife Barbara are enormously active in this community. The list of things that they have done for us over the decades seems to be without end. Ladies and gentlemen, we are so very proud to have Dr. Jim Terrell here today as our keynote speaker. Dr. Terrell.
I know you're not supposed to start a speech with an apology, but I'm going to. I'll apologize for being so personal on this. My Aunt Dora went to Galveston in 1915. She graduated in nursing. After World War I, or close to the end of the war, her whole hospital the staff of the whole hospital in Houston, one of the railroad hospitals, volunteered for the military. She wound up in South Carolina, Charleston, and proceeded to care not for the military victims, I guess you'd say, of the war, but for the flu victims of the war. I don't know how to address that. Anyway, she had a corpsman, an umbrella, and a bottle of aspirin, and a bucket of ice that the corpsman carried, and a thermometer. And she made rounds outside the main building of the hospital and went through the tents, checking temperatures, giving aspirin or leaving ice for the veterans of the flu. She came home from that, went to work with my father, who had come to Stephenville about 1915, and, 1915, somewhere in there. But anyway, they had the hospital, and she was assisting in surgery and caring for the patients on the ward. She got interested in surgery and decided to go to Chicago to study anesthesiology, or anesthesia at that time. She had the misfortune of getting to Chicago on St. Valentine's Day. Some of you older folks may remember the St. Valentine's Day massacre from the mob in Chicago. And here she was in Cook County starting the anesthesia program. She got out of there as quick as she could. Came back to Stephenville and began to assist in surgery and in anesthesia. My mom had followed her to Galveston in about 1920 and met my father there. They graduated together, went to Houston, and then came to Stephenville to practice. Dad had started here about 24 or so, and he was really interested in Stephenville and got started in the hospital about 25. Lance, his brother, went to the University of Texas in Galveston and graduated about in the early 30s, I guess it was. And he wound up going to New York City for a residency in eye, ear, nose, and throat. He met Violet there. She was a Swede from Western New York and was interested in eye surgery. They married, and believe it or not, they came home to Texas on a banana boat from New York City, United Fruit Company. Things worked out well for the family. The hospital survived World War II with a little bit of enlargement. And I came on the picture and went to medical school in 1955, graduated in 60, and went into surgery residency in Dallas. Fell in love with what I was doing there, and Barbara and I enjoyed Dallas. Her family retired and came to Stephenville about the time we got set up. And we have enjoyed Stephenville ever since then. I went to practice in 1965, and that was the year that Medicare passed and went into action. We didn't have enough nurses. There were RNs here, but they were employed, and you couldn't hire nurses anywhere. They were employed elsewhere. There was interest in Tarleton. Dr. Fain and Dr. Johansson were interested in the nursing program. And as you heard earlier today, they worked a lot towards getting a nursing program here. But nobody realized that we didn't have enough nurses to teach the nurses. And that's where we are today. There are so many different parts of medicine and health care that have exploded and created so many jobs and so many different ways for people to help other people that we desperately need more people in medicine. Right after Medicare got started, we started importing foreign medical graduates, foreign nurses, and we could not have survived the late 60s, early 70s without their help. I've had a philosophy for a long time that if you're around strangers or immigrants, you better make friends with them. Most of them are smarter than we are because they know more languages. Most of them are willing to work harder and work for less. And it's very important that we look after the rest of the world and those people if we're to be successful in what we do here. Dr. Frank got here late. He took a journey to Vietnam before he got here. But he's been practicing eye. Dr. Cedars had joined us in the early 50s, and he has a family full of physicians, but they're all specialists in California, I think, now. One of them's head of an insurance company in Denver. But we're all dependent on each other, and we need to realize that and work for it. Now, Bud Frazier was set up to give a presentation to you today about the need for nurses. And he's sick, couldn't come. I agreed to fill in. And I was reminded of a meeting of Texas Surgical in El Paso gosh, probably 15 years ago. But Bud was scheduled first thing 8 o'clock for the Texas Surgical Program for some paper on cardiac work. I honestly don't remember what it was. But he presented about 8:30 in the morning, somewhat disheveled. He looked like the devil. And usually he was very spick and span when he dressed. Unfortunately, the president of the Texas Surgical Society had had a heart attack the night before, and Bud had been up all night operating on him. I don't know whether that's why Bud chickened out or didn't want to come. But anyway, I do think it's important that we have the nursing program in Stephenville, that we expand the nursing program in Stephenville, and I think all of our community will benefit as well as the patients and the state of Texas. I'm pleased to be here today. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Dr. Terrell. Your remarks remind me of the impact that one family can have not only on a city and a county, but a region and a state. And the Terrell family has been wonderful, wonderful contributors to the improvement in lives of all of us. Could we just have another round of applause for not only Dr. Jim Terrell, but the whole Terrell family. Now, as Dr. Dottavio said, we did have the wisdom, I guess, to move the site indoors today. That would not have been possible without the leadership of Dr. Wanda Mercer. I think I saw Wanda in here. There she is. And also Robert Nemo, who is the director of this wonderful facility. Is Robert here somewhere? All right. Well, we get credit for mentioning Robert, Wanda, and you have to tell him how much we sincerely appreciate it, as well as the entire staff. So thank you very, very much for making this happen for us. Now, as Dr. McKinney mentioned, we do have the balance beam to the left over here, but it actually is going to go into the building, the nursing building itself, on the 3rd floor. And we're about to have a signing ceremony. We're going to invite the stage party, joined by their spouses who are in attendance today, to sign first, and then we invite everyone in attendance to sign as well. We want you to take the time to sign, because it is a wonderful, wonderful memorial that we will have placed in the building itself. We also have refreshments over to my left. We invite you to enjoy this time. We are sincerely appreciative of the time that each and every one of you took out of your schedule today to come and join us for this memorable event in the life of Tarleton State University. So thank you so much. Now I invite the stage party to go over and sign. Ms. McKinney, Barbara, Lisette, would y'all please join in as well? And Lisa, come on up and sign. We've got pins for everybody. So thank you so much.